I may have already read this from Dave Hopwood's book, Parables. It's called The Toy Box, and I thought I would read it again just in case I haven't. The morning sun streamed through the playroom window, while the shadows of seagulls glided over the sleeping forms of the toys and animals. In the far corner sat a bright yellow music box, the clockwork kind with a pretty tune and a dancer inside. The dancer was asleep. She always was at this time of the day. So too the clown, the soldier and the Perrault. Even the sound of the repairman's boots on the wooden staircase did not wake them. The repairman visited the toys each morning to make sure that they're all in working order and good spirits for the children who will be there in the afternoon. The repairman was a good friend of the toys and they loved and respected him. But not at this time of the morning. At this time, they were always asleep. Morning, toys. It's a brand new day. Time to wake up. The repairman's voice echoed around the silent room. Not a single toy moved. The stuffed parrot snored and whistled. The teddy bears continued dreaming of picnics, while the ragdoll rolled over and collapsed in a different heap. The repairman took a long look at the reluctant toys, gave a heavy sigh, then stepped over to the bright yellow music box in the far corner, 3 turns on the brass key, and he stepped back to watch the result. After a second's pause, the ticking began, wooden and slow, like the creak of an old rocking chair. Inch by inch, the triangular doors at the top of the box clicked open, and with a sleepy, dusty elegance, the dancer rose from the old music box. It was a repairman's favourite moment. There was a yawn from the cardboard castle, and the soldier sat up scratching his head. The clown and the Perrault flopped out of the toy box and rolled forwards, followed by the crafty fox and the rag doll. Within a few short moments, the playroom came to life. Toys sat up everywhere, stretching their springs and dusting off their wooden legs. The clown produced a toothbrush and happily cleaned his teeth, ears, shoes, and armpits. Whilst the Perrault launched into a complicated routine of stretching exercises. The soldier cleaned his rifle and his boots before beginning his daily march around the cardboard castle. 3 times round and then across the length of the room to the dancer. The soldier secretly had a soft spot for her, and it was true that he often chose to march across the length of the room in the direction of that bright yellow music box. As the clown saw this, he leapt behind the soldier and followed him all the way, parodying his marching with huge gangly steps, until the soldier stopped and the clown walked straight into the back of him, denting his polished red nose. The soldier turned and jabbed him twice, once in the chest and once in the eye. But it didn't hurt. The clown was used to being jabbed by the soldier and instantly turned his attention to the dancer and began mimicking her slow clockwork turns as he stood in front of her. This only made the soldier even angrier, while the dancer looked, a little confused. The soldier was about to jab the clown for a 3rd time when the dancer rather made a bigger movement than was usual for her stretching arm to its full length in order to bash the clown full in the face and knock his nose clean off. The soldier nodded approvingly. The dancer giggled nervously. The clown just fell over. At this point, the Perrault, who had been watching from a distance, came leaping over, seeing the clown lying so still. He sadly produced a black and white handkerchief and draped it ceremoniously over the clown's face. The dancer smiled and turned to shock, and the soldier wasted no time in joining her inside the box to comfort her. As the 2 figures continued their mournful clockwork routine, the handkerchief suddenly shot off the clown's face. And in a sudden blast of air, the clown himself jumped up and pulled the most outrageous face he could muster at the other 3. The poor dancer's shock turned to horror. It was all too much for her. The repairman cleared his throat to interrupt. "I wouldn't mind," he said with a sigh, "but we have the same old routine every morning." He scratched his head. "Come on, line up, repair time." The soldier stepped smartly up, but the clown pinched his place at the front of the queue until the soldier jabbed him with his rifle and sent him packing. "Ah, soldier, any complaints this morning?" asked the repairman. "There's always something to complain about in this place," the soldier snapped back. "Everything's so disorganized, especially him." He jabbed the clown yet again. The clown stuck his tongue out and pinged the soldier's braces. The repairman was used to this attitude from the soldier. "Oh dear, what is it this time? Stripes fallen off? No, braces snapped? No, I know, a hair out of place." "Nothing so trivial. It's my saluting arm. It hasn't been oiled in weeks." The repairman laughed. "Oh, if that's all it is, that's easily remedied." The oil gun squeaked 3 times and the soldier stamped off, saluting repeatedly and unnecessarily. "Clown, what's your problem?" The clown smiled back. "By doze is bidjibee." "What?" "It's by doze, it's bidjibee." The repairman peered down the clown's throat. "Sounds like your tonsils playing up. Or maybe your trousers are too tight." "Do," squealed the clown. "It's by..." He yanked off his dented red nose. "It's my nose. It's pinching me. The soldier hit me again. And the dancer, it's not fair. They gang up on me." "Oh, come on, I hardly think the dancer would get the better of you. Anyway, you'll live." The repairman took the dented nose and slipped it into his pocket. "I'll take this to the toy maker. He'll get it back into shape. Just don't do any sneezing in the next 24 hours. The clown clamped his hand over his face and did a funny walk over to the toy box. "What about you, Poirot? What's wrong with you?" The repairman walked over and sat next to him on the floor. "Nothing," said the Poirot, as he turned away. The repairman was not convinced. "Nothing? Nothing your bag of tricks could fix anyway?" The repairman tugged at his shoelace and thought for a minute. The toy maker might be able to help. For a while, the Poirot said nothing. Then, "Oh, I just don't fit in here. I'm not like the others." The repairman looked perplexed and asked him what he meant. "Well, take the clown. He's always making people laugh. He's cracking the right jokes, telling the right stories. No one laughs for me. And the dancer, she's so elegant and beautiful. She knows all the right steps. Me, I just bungle around." He sighed. "And then there's Soldier, so smart and disciplined. He's always trying to straighten me out. I want to be happy and popular and smart, but I can't. I just don't have what they've got. I've tried, but I can't." The repairman listened quietly and nodded. Thought for a few minutes and decided what to say. "Listen, Poirot, look at the time." The soldier thundered suddenly. "It's 9 o'clock. Time for work." "For the toy maker." The Poirot buried his head. "Oh, great. Late again," he said as he ambled off to do some exercises. Of course, the toys didn't really have to work for the toy maker. Their job was only to be there for the children. But the soldier had long since established his work policy. For the first hour of each day, everybody else took notice and followed him. The repairman took a step back and perched on the window ledge, taking in the scene as the toys began their routine. The clown produced a magic blue hat and managed to pull 4 chickens, 3 rabbits, and a full-size plastic bicycle from it. The soldier took his gun to pieces and carefully cleaned each part, taking the trouble to see the dancer was all right every couple of minutes. She was busy doing pliés by the side of a bright yellow music box. The Poirot soon grew tired of this usual routine, crept away from his chair and stood watching the clown and his magic blue hat. The Poirot then found his own blue hat from the toy box and reached in and pulled out 4 chickens, 3 rabbits and a bicycle. No, all he got was a shock when his hand shot out with 2 hairy spiders sitting on it. The Poirot shuddered and shook them off, then turned and began to follow the soldier, who was practicing a few marching steps. The Poirot straightened up, pushed his shoulders back, and tried to march upright in a similar fashion. But he couldn't see where he was going and walked right onto the toy shop mousetrap, which bit into his foot and made him yell rather loudly. Next, the Poirot turned his attention to the dancer, and on seeing that she had left her music box to try a few steps across the floor, he climbed inside and tried some clockwork turns. Suddenly there was an almighty crash, and the whole of the playroom turned to look at the Poirot came tumbling out of the box head first. The soldier marched over and scolded him. The dancer looked very upset indeed, and the repairman, he decided it was time for a break. "Okay, toys, it's wind down time." "Oh, no arguments, clown. You've already got bags under your grease paint. No more work until the children come this afternoon." With a few more complaints, the toys wandered back to their boxes. The repairman strolled over to the Poirot, who was holding his injured foot. "It's no good, I'll never be like them," he was saying. "I tried, I really tried." "Poirot, you are ready to listen now?" the repairman asked. "Have you finished dashing around trying to be someone that you're not?" The Poirot looked as if he wasn't sure what to say. "Poirot, let me show you something," the repairman said. "Take a look at the clown now." He pointed across the playroom. The clown was trying to entertain the rag doll with a bag of tricks, but she looked quite bored and soon walked away. The clown shook his head and suddenly looked very sad until one of the bears went past and the clown made him smile by tripping over and falling into a tub of paint. "You see," said the repairman, "he's always happy and joking on the outside because inside he's lonely. He needs to be entertaining people. Behind his smile, there is a bit of a broken heart. And look at the dancer. She's always practicing those perfect moves of hers because she's frightened of standing still. She has to keep moving. She's afraid of what might happen if she stops. And then, of course, there's Soldier." The Poirot looked up at the cardboard castle and got quite a shock, for the soldier was standing without his hat and gun and just staring at his reflection in a mirror. His face looked very sombre indeed. Yes, he's very disciplined on the outside, because in his head, he's falling apart. That's why he's trying to tidy everybody else up. He's a little ashamed of himself. You see, Poirot, they're in this pain too, just like you, only they're not yet as honest as you are. But the toy maker does know about these things. He does want to help, which reminds me, I forgot to give you this when I came in this morning. The repairman reached into his overall pocket and pulled out a beautiful, shiny black ruffle. "What's this?" "It's a gift from the toy maker." "But why? What did I do?" "Nothing. He just wanted to give you something to let you know that he's interested in you. He cares about you. You see, he made you a Poirot, not a clown or a soldier, and that's exactly the way he wants you. Here, take it. Wear it for him. Be a Poirot for the toy maker, not a clown for someone else." The Poirot did not know what to say to this, but he watched the repairman that slipped outside and shut the door quietly, leaving the toys for another day. After a while, he took the ruffle in his fingers and studied it, and it was quite proud in the excitement. Then, with nervous fingers, he clipped it around his neck. A small smile broke across his lips. Then he stood up, wandered over to the clown, and sat quietly beside him. Amen. Thanks, Dave Hopwood. What a lovely story. I hope you've enjoyed it.